Tell us about the brand. Tell us about SOS. Tell us about like the center, what type of services it offers. Tell us about the size of that market, what's happening in that space, and why is that a good investment industry to invest in. Tell us about your experience and why someone out there that's considering should say go to franchising Europe versus starting a business from scratch. What's the vision for the brand? All right, introduce yourself for us.
So my name is Joe Salsa, and I am the Director of Franchise Development for SOS Franchising.
Fantastic, Joe. Tell us about the brand. Tell us about SOS.
So SOS is the first and largest autism treatment franchise in the U.S. It was founded by Nicole Daher in Houston, Texas, 10 years ago in 2015, and we grew to over 100 locations now in 2025.
Fantastic. Tell us about like the center, what type of services it offers. Tell us about that process.
So the kids that come to us, they have a formal diagnosis for autism. So we provide primarily 4 services: ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and social skill classes. ABA therapy is really the main service that we provide. Most physicians recommend as the gold standard for autism treatment. So most of our franchisees are primarily offering ABA services, and it's a very demanding service, so a lot of families are looking for it. Once they get the diagnosis for their kids, that's usually the first thing they start to do. And our centers are large and beautiful. They're 5, 6, 7,000 square feet. So parents usually just drop their kids in the morning, go to work, and pick them up in the afternoon as they would as a typical school environment.
Got it, understood. And tell us about the autism market. Like, tell us about the size of that market and what's happening in that space, and why is that a good investment industry to invest in?
So the autism market, unfortunately, is a growing market. About 10 years ago, it was like 1 child for every 100. And the last CDC report came out about 2 weeks ago. Now it's 1 in 31. So it's an amazing growth, and we believe we're making a difference. So as a business, this is very interesting because insurance is our mandate to pay for the services. So when you are looking for a business that does not depend on disposable income, it's hard to beat what we're offering here because our business is fully reliable on insurance. And if the child is from a low-income family, they get state-funded insurance, such as Medicaid. And if they are a high-income family, they get private insurance, such as Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, and all that. So our franchisees are doing great. We have 0 locations that went out of business or closed out in the past 10 years. Almost all of them talk about opening a second location eventually. We have about a dozen or so that already have second locations, and we're thriving.
Fantastic. Love the story. Congratulations on all the success. And for someone out there that's thinking, you know, I can actually go start this maybe on my own. Why should I franchise? What's the benefits of franchising in general? And tell us about your experience and why someone out there that's considering should say go to franchising Europe versus starting a business from scratch.
Someone in franchise development, I love that question because after doing this for 15 years, the best answer I can give to someone is maybe you shouldn't go with franchising. You know, and people sometimes open up their eyes like, what do you mean by that? Well, franchising is just not for everyone. You know who does really well with franchising? Veterans. Why? Discipline. They like the process. They like the educational. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. They don't want to start something from zero. They prefer to start something that there's a roadmap. There's an operations manual, right? So I usually say franchising is good for those who actually embrace the process and they don't want to go and create new things. They just want to apply something that works. And I am a big believer in franchising because it cuts a lot of that learning curve. You know, if you're someone that likes to make your own mistakes and want to pay for it, go for it. I gotta tell you, some of the mistakes that we made early on nearly cost the entire business. So it's a big risk to take. And in our case, we cap our royalties. A lot of franchisors don't do that. We cap it at $5,000 currently, meaning once you get to that royalty cap, it's royalty free from that point forward. So a lot of our franchisees enjoy a very low royalty because of that.
Incredible. That's amazing. And where do you see the brand growing over the next 3 to 5 years? What's the vision for the brand?
So we have big and bold dreams. SOS is the first brand, and it's primarily targeting young kids and children. But autism and special needs, it doesn't go away as they grow, right? So we're going to evolve into additional brands that's going to continue to help these children as they get into their adult and then eventually even seniors. So we have this dream about our brand one day being able to service kids and helping them go find work and prepare them to go to work, you know, and then eventually do housing for some of these kids with some supervision, eventually even seniors with special needs. But that's our long-term, 20, 30 years term.
Incredible. And in terms of like the economics of the franchise, total startup cost, space that you're looking for, franchise fee, tell us about the key franchise model.
Candidates must have at least about $100,000 in liquid capital, and a net worth of about $400 to $500 is helpful, though not a requirement. The total investment, because this is a brick and mortar investment, So the total investment, you're looking at about $500,000 nowadays, because once again, our facilities are fairly large, 5,000 or 6,000 square feet. So as long as our candidates have about $100,000 in liquid capital, they should be able to get an SBA loan for the remaining. Our numbers are showing that our franchisees should be able to break even within the first year, which is amazing, most business, and also the whole return on investment 3 to 4 years on average.
Incredible. And this is such an amazing story. Some of the key things that I take away from this is that the industry is just growing in terms of the frequency of autism, and it's growing exponentially.
Yes.
And that's only going to need to now continue as they grow up, and there's long-term clientele that you need to serve long-term for that. And then you also have an insurance-based revenue model where you're getting paid by insurance, which is incredible, right? It's like a medical practice.
It is a medical sector.
It's a medical practice, and without being a medical professional,
Right.
you're investing in the medical industry essentially as a franchisee.
Right.
And you have zero failure rate, over 100
Zero.
franchises and zero failure rate.
Yep.
That is
Really
unheard
proud
of in the industry. That's a testament to how robust the business model is. It's a great franchise model. SOS, if they want to learn out more about the franchise, where should they go to learn more?
SOSFranchising.com is the best place to start. We have an amazing YouTube channel with a lot of testimonials. We actually get our franchisees to speak in front of the cameras. We don't tell them what to say. They're talking about days and what they do and why they enjoy doing this. Most of them want to open a second or third location. By the way, we do allow that. Once they prove that they can handle at least one, they can open multiple locations. But yes, SOSFranchising.com will be the best place to start.
Incredible. Congratulations on all the success, and thank you for sharing your story with us. I appreciate that, Joe.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Do you want to franchise your business and take it to a whole new level? Click the link below to schedule a free consultation today.